Hello and welcome to The Menu, Monocle Radio's food and drink program. I'm your host, Chiara Rimella. Coming up, we speak to a master of Spanish cuisine about the Iberian Peninsula's best flavours.
Tuna. Tuna is on my menu. I bring 170 kilos tuna last week to my restaurant.
Also on the program, we get the scoop on delicious Danish ice cream.
We've been experimenting with cumin, with dill. It's a very exotic flavour in ice cream.
Plus, Maisie Ringer jumps on the culinary canalboats of London. All that here in The Menu on Monocle Radio. Each cuisine has its own building blocks, the ingredients that define and shape it and recur time and again in many recipes. In Spain, those span from juicy jamón to tangy manchego and sweet peppers. Over the decades, chef José Pizarro has developed his career in London through his ability to distill this produce into tasty recipes. His latest book, titled The Spanish Pantry, focuses on 12 essential ingredients that can be combined in countless ways. But the book is also an ode to his roots in Extremadura and combines his childhood memories with his flair for precise but approachable cooking. José joined me in the studio to tell me more.
I think it's like a space for another 20 books.
Yeah.
Know? But it was quite difficult to bring those 100 ingredients to 12. But I think all of them mean something from the bottom of my heart, how I grew up, how my mom was cooking, how my parents were working the farm, all of those things representing what is this book. It's only one ingredient that was not very usual, that was the saffron. Saffron in my village was not much going on there, or in my mom cooking either, but I love it and have to be there. But it's missing anchovies, it's missing, so many of them. Will be a space for another book? I don't know. But these 12, they are very, very, very close to me.
Well, I'm interested in what this book represents at this point in your career because you're such an established chef and you have all these restaurants under your belt and you've written a number of books, some of which with a regional focus. Why go back to the basics so much? This really feels like a book that's full of classics. Some of it really is like the building blocks, like tomato sauce. So why go for something that really feels so classic in so many ways and so kind of all-encompassing?
I think I had to go back to my roots, and always my books are personal. But this one is my roots. It's where I was a kid and I saw the onions hanging on the cellar, or I went to do the matanza, It was the season where my friend for a year was the pig, had to be transformed to food. And it was a very difficult decision for me to see that animal going. But at the same time, it was happiness because I knew that was my food for the whole year, for me, my family, and people working in the farm. And I think the roots, like we say, are so important, and this book is designed from my root, from my heart. Like all of them, no? But I have to say this is very special for that.
Talking about these roots, you've obviously lived in the UK for a long time, 26 years. So what does it mean for you to be still cooking this food? And are you still as passionate about it as you ever have been? But also, how has it changed through the years to accommodate the fact that you are a Londoner now, that you're not just a pure and straightforward Spanish guy anymore?
But at the same time, it's all about my root, and when you write a new book, it's all about research, it's all about meeting new people, new ingredients, something that you want, something new to talk about. And I'm more Spanish than Acorn, but London is my home. And it's the flavor or the history from Spain with ingredients from the UK because, sustainability is important. We need to work together, and we need to support the producers in this country. Then they are very close to me and very important.
What about how much you have changed as a chef, in these moments of reflection, aside from diving deeper into food and how it comes to our table? Do you realize, because you have it written down in front of you, how much you've changed since, the first books or the first restaurants as well?
Or the first, when I started learning about cooking, the reason I came to the UK was I was in Madrid and I had a very good job, but I want to learn more. And 26 years in Madrid, 6 years ago in Madrid, the diversity of the cuisine was very little, was quite difficult was non-Indian, was no, And the reason to come here was to learn, to be able to, if you want to do some kind of the new cuisine or that, you need to know more technique, you need to know more spices, you need to know more flavors. And it's why I came here to do and to learn. But I didn't speak any English, and then I have to go back to Spanish cuisine. And I transformed myself for want to do that kind of monocular food, to go back to my roots, to go back to my farm, my parents' farm. And it's a change, and every day you change. And I will never change what is all about Spanish cuisine, because it's all about, it's what I know. I cook pasta, and I know how to make pasta, but I go somewhere else to eat pasta. And I will not change, and I will never change the Spanish cuisine, because it's what I know.
In this, then, I think it's interesting, if we're talking so much about roots and staying true to what you know and what feels true to you, where does freshness and innovation lie for you as a chef? You're approaching your menu, you're approaching your way of cooking. Where does the freshness and innovation for you as professionally come from?
Coming from to meet people, to go to the market and to understand more. I know tuna for many years, Spanish tuna is a big thing now. And to learn how the bluefin tuna is being caught just in front of my house in Spain. To learn more about keep me fresh and keep the fresh, bringing something new to my menu. 24 years ago, I put raw pork on my menu. And everyone was calling me crazy. José, you cannot do that. I talk about this so many times, but I said, you can eat raw pork, and it's still on my menu. And now, so many people, everyone is cooking raw pork in Spain than before, which never happened. And I don't want to say I'm the first, but it's bring me something new for me to know. And now it's the tuna, and before was the olive oils or the vinegars. It's how I keep fresh myself. I need to discover something new and give to my customer to try. And now I'm in the mission to tuna. Tuna is on my menu. I bring 170 kilos tuna last week to my restaurant. I bring people from Spain to do the ronqueo, is how they butcher the tuna. And it's learning and keep me fresh and keep me, like we said before, to learn more. And that tuna been catching in that area in Spain for the last 3,000 years. It's incredible what is the history.
You mention a few times in the book that your roots lie in Extremadura. Can you tell us what would make your ideal Extremaduran menu or restaurant?
I think in Extremadura is all, for me, it's all about what I see is the rural. It's the scene that the tomato. There's no it's coming now to the season, and they are here now. There's a really great tomato soup that my mom was cooking. And all of that, and the simplicity of a simple chicken cooked with onion, that is well in the book. I can see, you are talking about the book and my region, but it's how I grew up with that. And then nothing better than a simple flan, cream caramel. Last night I was doing a dinner in the embassy. I have tomato soup as a starter, tuna with onion as main, and then I did a simple peaches. And I said, you're surrounding the most incredible space, But what we are going to have is the food very close to my heart. It's a simple tomato soup, and it's made with the first tomatoes coming from Spain. The best tuna that you can fish in front of my house in Spain. And the first peaches. That is Extremadura, is Spain. It is all about to be in the most beautiful place, having the more simple but tasty food.
Chef José Pizarro there. This is the menu. To Denmark now, where Hansens ice cream has managed to build a successful business by taking on mainstream brands with a quality organic product that is available in every supermarket. Our Denmark correspondent Michael Booth visited the Hansens dairy an hour northwest of Copenhagen to meet Anders Ibu Hansen, a fourth-generation ice cream maker who now runs the company with his brother Rasmus. Anders began by explaining how the family company was sold to Nestlé in 1997, only to be reborn again in the early 2000s.
So we have had the advantage of reinventing ourselves in 2003. Before that, we were doing ice cream since the 20s, and then it blossomed up, and in the 50s, 60s, we had like 200 different ice cream brands. And then the whole business got consolidated. It got bought by different companies. Eventually, the large multinational companies came to Denmark, came to Scandinavia.
It's a bit like the beer industry.
Totally. So in the end, our dad, he tried to be innovative and tried to make really, really good products, but the audience wasn't really there at that moment. So in 97, we sold the old company, and then he was a bit restless.
Your dad, is this?
Yeah, this is our dad. He's a dairyman. So he was a bit restless, and he came to my brother and me and asked if we wanted to start up again. He just wanted to make ice cream as good as he possibly could. His dream was making ice cream in the summer and then having the winter off.
It's everyone's dream, Hannes, isn't it?
It's everyone's dream.
Is that the reality? Is that how it ends up?
No, it lasted for just one season. And then the ice cream was so tasty that people was demanding it year round.
There's a big difference between the ice cream we love to eat when we go on holiday to Italy from independent gelateria and then the absolute crap that barely can be defined as ice cream that makes up the majority of what is sold in supermarkets around the world. We're not going to name names. But Hansens has kind of bridged that gap. Who inspired you to do that, and how did you do it, and what are the challenges about scaling up that quality product?
The core idea is really, really simple. We just wanted to make ice cream in the same way our great-granddad did. So it's kind of a slower process, being more careful with the ingredients.
How difficult is that challenge to use quality ingredients for a supermarket product?
Now that you put it that way, it is kind of hard, of course. So we've been taking some really essential choices. One being we only want to make organic ice cream. Flavor-wise, it's kind of a hassle to make the same like full, tasty, flavory experience. Like how do you do the emulsifying part of the ice cream, not being able to use the tools that you can do in conventional ice cream? They use acid from soy, which is really efficient.
And how do you achieve that?
So what is really different for us is that we take in raw milk directly from the farms, and then we skim off the cream. And then we take the skimmed milk and condense it, so filter out the water. So we have like super fresh, really, really tasty milk and cream. So we made an agreement with the local organic farm called Svanholm. Ending up every day with 5,000 kilos of milk was kind of logistic hassle. So we've been trying to get practical about it and trying to get it to work, and it took us maybe 5 years to get a daily nice flow.
Today, Hansen produces 2 million litres of ice cream a year, which represents just under 5% of the Danish market. One of the challenges for building a successful ice cream company in Denmark was getting the Danes to eat ice cream during the winter, not just as a summer treat. So they developed special winter flavours. One of them is almond and cherry. But I wondered if there'd been any failures along the way.
Have you had any experimental flavours that just haven't flown with the Danish public?
Yeah, so we've been experimenting with cumin, with dill. It's a very exotic flavour in ice cream.
Together, cumin and dill, or
it's two separate flavours.
Just pure cumin flavoured ice cream.
Yeah,
that sounds like a hard sell.
It's a hard sell, and it's super risky. It was a one-time experience. We also experimented with rye bread. We did flavours with beer.
Do you judge people by their favourite flavours of ice cream? I do. Like if someone goes into a gelateria and they can see amazing range of, I don't know, Roquefort and walnut or whatever, and they still go for vanilla, I think there's something wrong with you.
It's so interesting. I try not to judge people at all, not even myself, but it's not super easy.
I remember when you relaunched Hansens, the branding was so distinctive. It had a kind of retro look about it, which told you everything you needed to know about the product.
Rasmus and I, we did the visual identity. I made the logo. I was at that point studying at the Danish design school. We wanted to make it very distinct, only having illustrations of ice cream instead of pictures. So it looks old, but you can't really decide if it's made last year or if it's made 100 years ago.
A couple of years ago, the Hansen brothers sold 60% of their company to a special foundation which focuses on creating employment for people who are a little outside the labour market. It gave a useful injection of capital, which will help with possible expansion plans into Norway and Germany. They also now own a vanilla farm in Uganda to supply the vast quantities of vanilla beans they need, and has offered to give me a tour of the production next to their HQ in Jægerspris, where they also have a fantastic ice cream parlour.
The idea is just that we take in the raw milk here. It's super fresh. We skim off the cream immediately, and then when you have skimmed off the cream, you end up with a really big amount of skimmed milk. It's a little watery, but you also have the protein and the lactose, so you have a lot of flavoring parts of the milk. So to get the full flavor to live and to fold itself out, we need to remove the water. So we filter it with high pressure, and then the milk is condensed in that way. We pump in the skimmed milk, and then we have two pipes, the one with the product in it, and the other one is the waste, which is water. And it's totally, like you see it in here, it's clear as...
Pure water.
Pure water, H2O. Comes from the sky, it goes down into the grass, through the cow, and then we take it out.
Maybe there's a new product. Cow water.
Cow water.
And the smell here is a lovely, rich, milky, sweet...
Bit of vanilla as well.
Yeah.
This is a very funky product that we do. It's called ice cream cubes. So it's a square cubes. So it's a square piece of ice cream, and it's you can use it for different things. Right now, it's Roskilde Festival is coming up. We make a lot of milkshakes at Roskilde. 3 cubes, some milk, maybe a little bit of Kahlua and vodka. Then you have a really nice drink. This is the chocolate flavor. It's chocolate ice cream. Then it has liquid chocolate, which is churned into the ice cream.
Oh, that is excellent. Crunchy bits of chocolate. How much ice cream do you eat a day?
I don't need...
double dip?
You can double dip. You have your own end of the tube. I try to eat ice cream every day, but I don't go overboard. I love ice cream.
This is fresh off the production line, and for me it's the perfect consistency.
So this is the perfect temperature. It's -6 degrees, so all the ice crystals are just freshly made, and it's smooth. When you take it out of the freezer, a really nice tip is to maybe defrost it in the fridge, like in 5 degrees, and then spend a few hours on it.
A few hours in the fridge.
Then you get a good result.
For Monocle in Jægerspris, Denmark, I'm Michael Booth.
Michael Booth there with that report. This is the menu. Finally, we're heading back to London for a taste of waterborne cuisine. In many cases, cooking aboard a boat is a complicated affair. The space for kitchens and utensils is notoriously little. But there is an undeniable charm to dining with a view to a body of water, which is perhaps why more and more restaurants in London are deciding to operate out of the endearing narrowboats that populate its canals. Here, Monocle contributor Maisie Ringer sets sail on her culinary journey.
When you think of dining out in London, you probably imagine cosy gastropubs or rooftop terraces. But today, I'm swapping pavements for pontoons, exploring the floating restaurants and drinking spots on London's waterways. For my first stop, I've headed to the centre of the capital, Embankment, where moored along the Thames is the barge at Temple, a beautiful, cinematic-looking boat run by Capital Pleasure Boats. I met up with the co-founder and director, Matt, to find out more.
The bar at Temple was opened officially mid-December last year, after carrying out extensive refits and works during the summer, and our first function was New Year's Eve. Amazing. 2024.
Where you're situated, you've got the most amazing view. You're so central. You can see, London Eye, South Bank Centre. It's the most perfect place actually to see the fireworks, I suppose. Could you see the fireworks from the boat?
Yes, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I asked Matt how he'd ended up running a bar on the river.
So myself and my business partner, one of my business partners, Scott, are both Thames watermen. So we've worked on the River Thames all our working life, and we founded Capital Pleasure Boats after working together. Now we run the company with our wives. We now have the tenancy for Temple Pier, and when we took over the tenancy there was another floating bar inside Temple Pier called the Wilfrid, which unfortunately sank. So we raised it and disposed of the boat, and we decided as a company to purchase our own boat and have our own boat inside doing the same job.
From here, they now operate a whole fleet of boats, from working vessels to full-blown party boats, all anchored at this central stretch of the river. The atmosphere at the bar at Temple feels warm and unpretentious. Matt tells me their kids even pitch in behind the bar during the holidays. On deck, a rather raucous work party is enjoying a sunny afternoon with drinks in hand. There's a fairy-lit bar serving pints, cocktails and spirits, and even a pizza oven sizzling away in the corner. Whether you're after a quiet pint or a bite to eat with a view, it's a breezy, open-air alternative to the tightly packed pubs nearby.
Thank you. Wow, it's huge!
Matt takes me aboard one of their other boats, and as we stand on the top deck looking down at the bar at Temple, he shares the story of the engineering feat it took to get the bar at Temple safely docked at this busy pier.
Because after we bought the boat, we put it into a dry dock, had all the underneath sort of scaled back and surveyed and repaired and put together.
Yeah.
But we had to cut all the masts off to get it up through the bridges. You see the brown mast, you can just see a little line.
Yes, I can,
quite low
yeah.
at the bottom, that's where we chopped the masts off. And then when once they were up here, our engineers put all the masts back up again. Yeah, it's just we had a few guys help us out that do the rigging on the cutter sark, put all the rigging back up.
And is that just because you were mates with them from working?
It's sort of just been in the industry really.
Yeah.
It's quite a small industry. We know a lot of people between us. So.
The bar is run by people who really know boats in one of the busiest stretches of river in the city, and that makes it the perfect spot for a drink with a difference. From the roar of the Thames to the hush of London's canals, I make my way to Paddington, a calmer, greener side of London. Just a short walk from Paddington Station, the waterway opens up into Little Venice, a tucked-away spot where houseboats, cafes and even a radio station float on calm waters framed by willow trees. Moored along the canal is the Cheese Barge, an elegant, purpose-built boat that does exactly what it says on the hull. It's a barge, and it's all about cheese. I spoke to Matthew Carver over the phone from Glastonbury, the UK's most famous festival, where he's currently selling cheeses. Matthew is no newcomer to the world of cheese, and I asked him where the idea came from.
I started my cheese career, I suppose you'd call it, 11 years ago now as the Cheese Truck, which was a food truck that went to music festivals and events with the aim of championing British cheese. And then we opened our first restaurant in Camden Market called the Cheese Bar. And then since then, we've grown to 5 sites. Really, the idea behind championing British cheese came from wanting to serve the very best cheese toasties that we could possibly serve. That got me asking myself, why is it that people don't know that much about British cheese? That was where we started, really. It was the want to engage a new audience with really great British cheese. We're really lucky in this country that we make some absolutely incredible cheeses, and we have kind of a really rich history of cheese making that is maybe not so well known as kind of our European counterparts. It was really about trying to put that on a pedestal and get people to understand and appreciate more about these incredible cheeses.
So what kind of clientele does the Cheese Barge attract?
We get a really mixed clientele coming to the Cheese Barge. We obviously have our hardcore kind of cheese fans who make specific trips into London to come and visit the Cheese Barge. But aside from that, we do get a lot of kind of office community. There's a lot of workers and a lot of offices around Paddington Central. And so we get a good after work crowd who enjoy sitting on the roof terrace with a cheese board and a glass of wine. I think there's something really nice about sitting on a barge. It kind of makes you feel like you're not in London sometimes, like you could be on holiday, sat by the river. It's got a kind of holiday-esque feel.
And what's on the menu?
I always say that it's kind of like small plates / tapas style dining based around seasonal British produce and seasonal British cheese. So it's designed to share. When you have quite strong flavoured cheeses, you know, like some kind of rich blue cheeses or some wash rind cheeses, it's nice to balance them with some kind of milder cheeses, ricottas, mozzarellas. And I think that works really well. It means that you don't have any food envy and you can try lots and lots of really delicious dishes. We have really strong relationships with all of our cheesemakers. From day one, we've always been about celebrating and championing the best small cheesemakers in the country.
When I head there, people are sat up on deck, tucking into beautifully curated plates. The boat is sleek and modern and right in the thick of it. Matthew's colleague Magda showed me around.
Well, you walk straight into the boat and then you've got that amazing view.
Yeah, so basically this is one of our best tables in the whole restaurant. Many people, whatever they call, they always request this table to be seated. Fair enough, because you have the big window, amazing view through it, and it's basically like you have the cheese behind there, so you can see every single cheese we have on our cheese board. And it's the quietest area as well, I would say, because the more inside the restaurant you go, it gets a little bit noisy, especially when it's full of people. But it still has like a different climate inside. We can go further.
You're so close to the water as well.
Yeah, so close to the water. And so basically when it's sunny, we have a little swan as well coming through, so it's absolutely amazing. This is our area when we prepare our cheeses, cheese board mainly. We have a fridge full of our cheeses. You can find every single cheese which is on our menu. A little bit down there, we have our main restaurant, I would say. All of the tables. We don't have many sittings, but I think it makes this place cozier and, you know, like something special about this. So it's great.
It's the perfect spot to watch the world go by with a glass of wine and a selection of British cheeses. London's floating bars and restaurants aren't just a novelty. They're part of a growing shift in how we use the city's waterways. Once the engine room of industry, these rivers and canals are being reimagined. Whether it's a pint by the pier, a slice of pizza under fairy lights, or cheese served from the deck of a canalboat, London's waterways are offering something refreshingly different. They're not just places to pass through, they're places to stop, sit, and stay a while. For Monocle, I'm Maisie Ringer.
Thanks, Maisie. And that's all for this edition of The Menu. Remember that we are back with a new episode again on Friday at 2000 London time. That's at midday in San Francisco. Also, don't forget to tune into our spin-off show Food Neighbourhoods for a tour of some of the world's tastiest destinations. I am Chiara Rimella. This programme was produced by Monica Lillis and our sound engineers were Flynn Simons and Steph Chungu. Thanks for listening and until next week.